Welcome back to another inspiring chapter. Let's step right into his world. Some men are remembered for speeches, others for reforms, and a rare few for choosing the harder path when the easier one beckoned. Dr. Ishrat Husain could have lived a life of privilege abroad, with prestigious offers and foreign passports within reach. Yet he walked away from comfort to return to Pakistan, again and again. His life is not a straight story of offices and titles, but of conviction. How one boy, born before partition, carried lessons of struggle and turned them into policies that framed Pakistan's modern financial system. Born in Agra in 1941, Ishrat's earliest memory was disruption, partition tearing lives apart. His family migrated to Pakistan, stripped of their wealth, arriving in Karachi exhausted from a harrowing journey. Temporary refuge in Malir turned into eventual settlement in Hyderabad, Sindh. His father, a lawyer by training, placed towering hopes on the young Ishrat. In a large family where resources were stretched thin, education became the currency of ambition. Ishrat, physically slight and too young for sports, found his arena elsewhere, inwards. He immersed himself in debating and student politics, his sharp mind making him vice president of the student union. The unions of that era were powerful, bridging campus and national politics. They led movements that helped topple Ayub Khan in 1968. Though unions were later banned in 1984, Ishrat carried those early lessons: power, persuasion, and responsibility. Ishrat raced through academics, completing matriculation and a bachelor's degree at an unusually young age. His father suggested medicine. Ishrat's own instinct pushed elsewhere. He pursued a master's in chemistry at Sindh University in 1958 before international opportunities arose. In 1959, he won a scholarship to the University of British Columbia, Canada. Arriving after a brief stop in London, the 18-year-old excelled so quickly that he secured a second master's degree with honors by age 21, crowned outstanding foreign student. At this point, Canada beckoned him with citizenship and a promising life. But Ishrat chose differently. He traveled through America by bus, absorbing its culture, before returning to Pakistan in 1962. Years later, his studies turned fully toward economics. He earned an MA in Development Economics at Williams College, 1972, and later a PhD in Economics from Boston University, 1978. These qualifications gave him both academic depth and global exposure, tools that would eventually define his influence on policy. Ishrat's professional career reached global heights at the World Bank, where he joined in 1979 as a country economist for Liberia. Over 2 decades, he worked in politically unstable and economically fragile regions. In Ghana, facing coups and instability, he designed programs that integrated Ghana into World Bank structures, a turning point for that economy. In Nigeria, a country marred by corruption and complexity, Ishrat creatively orchestrated external funding without the IMF, stabilizing the economy in fragile times. His climb through the World Bank hierarchy was steady. By the mid-1990s, he had become chief economist for the Asia-Pacific region. From 1997 to 1999, he led operations in Central Asia, steering post-Soviet economies through transition. By then, Ishrat held credibility not merely as an economist, but as a reformer who could adjust to culture, politics, and crisis. In 1999, Ishrat returned to Pakistan one more time, this time as the governor of the State Bank of Pakistan, SBP. The country's economy was strained by sanctions, weak institutions, and political turbulence. As governor until 2005, Ishrat moved decisively. He pushed financial reforms, privatized banks, and shored up the credibility of Pakistan's central banking framework. He prioritized corporate governance standards, strengthened regulatory systems, and oversaw branch expansions to increase financial inclusivity. The results earned him global acclaim. In 2005, he was named Best Central Bank Governor for Asia by The Banker magazine, and in 2006, he received the Asian Banker Lifetime Achievement Award. Nevertheless, his tenure was not without criticism. Some argued that his loose monetary policy stoked inflation and worsened the current account deficit. But even critics acknowledged his structural reforms, especially bank privatization and capital strengthening, that left a lasting foundation. In 2008, Ishrat shifted back to academics, becoming Dean of the Institute of Business Administration. IBA, Karachi. For nearly a decade until 2016, he transformed IBA from a narrowly focused business school into an interdisciplinary university with stronger faculties in economics, social sciences, and policy. His work earned recognition. In 2015, President Mamnoon Hussain awarded him the Nishani-Imtiaz, Pakistan's highest civilian honor. Even after resignation in 2016, Ishrat was honored with the title Professor Emeritus at IBA, a symbolic continuation of his intellectual influence. Leaving IBA did not mark retirement. Ishrat joined the Woodrow Wilson Center in the U.S. as a resident policy fellow, contributing his international experience to policy research. Then, in August 2018, he returned to government policymaking as advisor to Prime Minister Imran Khan for Institutional Reforms and Austerity. His agenda included reducing waste, strengthening governance, and reforming civil institutions. Though his critics saw the task as overwhelming, given Pakistan's entrenched bureaucracy, Ishrat's appointment epitomized trust in his integrity and foresight. By July 2021, he resigned, honoring his original commitment to step down at a certain time. His departure was seen less as an exit and more as another principle-driven decision. Over the decades, Ishrat collected numerous accolades. Jinnah Award, 2005, for his tenure as SBP governor. Nishan-e-Imtiaz, 2016, Pakistan's highest civilian honor for contributions to academia and economic reform. Listed as one of the world's respected performers in central banking. Beyond leadership, Ishrat remained deeply scholarly. He is the author of 18 books, along with dozens of articles and academic contributions. His work spanned development economics, governance, and policy strategy, with renowned publications like Pakistan, The Economy of an Elusive State. He consistently published in global journals, ensuring Pakistan's case was part of global economics discourse. Ishrat loved to remind younger generations of his own start in student unions and debating clubs. His early involvement in campus politics not only shaped his expression, but became part of his philosophy to involve students in real-world issues. Even decades later at IBA, he encouraged debate, social events, and activism as part of leadership training. Now, no legacy is without debate. Critics remain of his monetary policies at SBP. Others defend his reforms as visionary. Yet across Pakistan's institutions, banks, universities, and government offices, the signature of Ishrat Husain is visible. His generation carried the weight of partition into adulthood. They bore responsibility to create institutions where none had existed. For Ishrat, this responsibility became a vocation, defined by convictions that Pakistan's economy could be stabilized with reforms and guided with integrity. When not writing or teaching, Ishrat valued simplicity. A man of discipline and public service, he combined global exposure with national pride. His presence at international forums, calm, articulate, passionate, reflected an unusual blend. The technocrat who could explain numbers in the language of ordinary citizens. Even his critics respect him for one reason. He kept returning to Pakistan. With every international offer or chance to stay abroad, Ishrat walked back to the country that had once welcomed his refugee family. From a child carried across borders during partition, to an academic who mastered multiple disciplines, to a World Bank leader and governor of SBP, to the dean of IBA and eventually advisor to the prime minister, Ishrat Husain exemplifies the commitment of a man devoted to economic reform, education, and public service. His 6-decade career is both an individual journey and a reflection of Pakistan's own struggles, through crises, reforms, uncertainty, and revival. Ishrat Husain's story leaves behind more than statistics. It tells us what one man can do when he refuses to turn away and insists on serving again and again.